Hi folks, hope you're well. So I've just done some filming the other night and I'm driving back and I find myself driving through Amersham in Bucks, not something I normally do, but it reminded me that a couple of years ago I had a very popular video up on my channel where my good friend Lou Lewis had paid to get a headstone made for Ruth Ellis, who was the last woman to be hanged in this country, and she didn't have a headstone, and so her grave was unmarked. So Lou decided, very nice guy that he is, he decided that he would go down, put a headstone on the grave. Now, I've seen a lot of the comments online. It was a really popular video, had over 100,000 views. People say that the headstone was nicked or it was moved. So I thought, I'm going through Amersham, even though it's late at night, I'll go and have a look. So it's not my normal thing to be going through a graveyard at night, but there you go. You've got to do these things. So here's the footage of me walking through the graveyard and seeing if that headstone is still there. Yeah, here we go. So let's see if the gates are open or whether they close the gates at night. As I say, I'm not a big fan of going in. Yeah, it's open. There you go. So we're going in to see Ruth, see whether that gravestone is still there, headstone. And yeah, I'm not going to be one of the guys who does a lot of the grave stuff at night. I'm not looking for anything other than to see whether that headstone is still there. We can see a clip actually of that previous video. Let's have a look at it now with Lou paying tribute to Ruth Ellis.
Many years ago, my mum, right up until the mid-60s, was always talking about Ruth Ellis and what a sad thing had happened to her. And when you're a little kid, you get taken in by all that, and it became very interesting to me as well. And a few years ago, someone said to me, well, you know where she's buried, don't you? I said, I've no idea. They said, Old Amersham. I said, no. So I came here, I looked at it on the web, and I come over and had a look. And sure enough, people put little things here, so she's still not forgotten. And I thought, she needs a headstone, because I do know that her son had a lot of problems, and just before he killed himself in 1981, he smashed her headstone up, so there was nothing here. And I have a friend who works in the trade, and I said to him, could you get me a piece of stone? And originally he bought me something about this big, and I said no, I've got to have it smaller. And he didn't charge me a lot of money, and I just thought it would be a nice thing to do. So we're here today to put a stone down on Ruth Ellis's grave. Her maiden name is Hornby, and that's what was on the original headstone.
Tell us something about Ruth Ellis.
Ruth Ellis worked in the Little Club in West London and met a man called David Blakely, and she fell madly in love. I think he used her somewhat, I don't know. But there was constant fighting, he'd knock her about, and it was just an awful situation. And eventually she'd had enough of it, and she waited outside the Magdala pub for him to come out one night, when he was with another woman apparently, and shot him dead. And put the gun down, waited for the police to arrive, and did not defend herself. And Pierpoint swung her off, and Pierpoint said, I've never ever seen that before. She smiled at me as she walked into the hanging room.
So she officially was the last woman to be
She
hung.
was officially the last woman to be hung. But what a tragedy.
You know, what kind of age was she?
She was 29 years old, and she had 2 children. She had a boy and a girl, and the girl became a model and died of a cancer in us. I think she was 60, and the boy had a lot of problems, and he came here, and I think it was 1981, and he smashed up her headstone, and then he took his own life. It was sad.
It's kind of weird that there is actually no headstone here. I mean, so
you think somebody, you would have thought somebody might have done something after all these years, but...
So why is it important to you?
I don't honestly know. I think my mum would be proud. That's what I think.
So, there's obviously some other people who do care that she's got some...
Yes, there's always, there. I've been here many times, and there's always little things here. Sometimes little trinkets. Today there are some photographs that people have, photographs of Ruth.
Of course, nowadays, I mean, there's no way that she'd have been hung for that.
No, absolutely not. she'd have probably done about 8 years and been out. It was the man, they're just awful to her. You know, there's a film called Dance with a Stranger, and that would be worth looking at if you want to get a feel for the whole thing.
Right, just walking up to the corner of this graveyard. They are strange places at night. But, you know, they're just people like us. And here it is in the corner. Now, that's interesting. There it is, Ruth Ellis. There's a cross there. Now, I didn't see that before. And there's also there, Ruth Ellis, 1926 to 1955. So, not the gravestone that my friend Lou put down, but a cross. And here she lies. And she's here, you can see in this graveyard, if you can see much in the light. The last resting place of Ruth Ellis. And of course she would not be hung in this day and age. Crime of passion. Some people believe it was the right decision, but I think the majority of people think it was a very extreme punishment. So here lies Ruth Ellis, and it's nice to see the fact that she's got a cross here, because as I say, it was just a blank grave. So I'm just going to take a moment. We never know where we're going to end up, do we? We never ever know. I think she was only 22. So it's just a nice thing to do, to come back and have a look at this grave. Well, what do you feel now, having put that down?
I feel really good about it. The only thing I'm worried about is someone might steal it, because this could be carried away. And someone might think, oh, great, I'll have a little bit of that. They did it with Billy the Kid. They chipped lumps out of his stone and
so
took
what's
it
your
away.
message to people to leave the headstone now
Yes,
alone?
please leave the headstone alone. Please visit Ruth's grave. That would be very nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully she'll always be remembered. We've come here today to lay this stone so that people who are looking for her won't have to find the little trinkets that people leave. They can actually find a nice stone, see where she was buried. And I think I've done something positive for a change. God bless you, Ruth. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in friends and family and people who are close to me. And my mother talked about her all the time, and never forgotten. And now you've got a marker. God bless you, Ruth.
So quiet in here. As they say, quiet as the grave. The last resting place of Ruth Ellis. I think my friend Lou will be very pleased that the work that he did last time, getting the headstone made, I don't know what happened to it, whether the council took it away or whether it was just stolen, but great to see that there is something there now for Ruth Ellis that marks her grave, so people can come along and pay their respects. Well, I'm going to head out the graveyard now. So if you want to visit the grave, it's in Amersham, in Bucks, just off Church Street. There it is, St Mary's Cemetery, Amersham. And obviously probably better to visit it in the daylight. I just happened to be on my way home and just thought that this would be a nice thing to do, just to see. I could tell my friend Lou, as a few people have said, his headstone had gone. Thanks for watching.